this is not good. I disagree with this one. That's a huge chunk. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome to our little corner of the internet. Today we're going to be watching a video titled "Let's Fix the United States' Awful Borders." Without further ado, let's see what this video is about.
The United States is a mess. As it grew from east to west, it acquired territories, carved them up, divided them even more, and eventually made them all into individual states. But this process made no sense, and many states were divided and created for stupid political reasons rather than anything natural. When all was said and done, we ended up with a country whose state borders look very fake. So I decided to fix them, mostly along natural borders, but also there's some other stuff too. And before you get too riled up, this is gonna be fun, probably.
Okay, but how would you divide a country into states? Because there's so many things. I think I would probably most likely divide it depending on the geography, you know, like rivers, mountains, and all of that. I feel like that's like the most logical way to do it, because then people would be kind of like either on the other side of the river or the other side, you know, it makes sense. It just makes sense. But then if there's like political reasons why something is divided in half, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
The first place I want to start as we fix borders are the states that are essentially just duplicates that were formed for reasons that never really made sense in the first place. The biggest culprit here is North and South Dakota. These two states were originally created out of a single territory called Dakota. But when the territory was about to be admitted as a full state, it was quickly divided into two states in order to give the Republican Party at the time a congressional advantage. Basically, we have two Dakotas for political reasons and nothing more, so they're now back to just being called Dakota. Up next are the Carolinas. Now, these two date back before the United States was even a thing, so maybe there's an argument to keep them separate, but I'm not gonna do that. These two colonies split because of a war with a local indigenous tribe. The Northerners at the time required more resources to acquire the land they wanted, and the Southerners didn't really want to help. So
this is interesting.
They split. Well, that doesn't seem like a good enough reason for divorce to me, so now they're back to being just Carolina. And finally, we have the two Virginias. But unlike with the other two, I'm gonna keep these two separate, mostly because West Virginia broke away so as to stay with the Union during the American Civil War, and, well, I think that's a very good reason to become a separate state. Nice job, West Virginia. All right, with those states out of the way, let's get to fixing the rest of the borders. And we're going to start with the square states in the West. The United States has some wacky borders, mostly in the western half of the country. So we're going to chop all of these states up and break them apart.
Yeah, this like these ones that are completely like squares, it looks kind of crazy, you know? Because there must be some type of like logical geographical border you could make. But at the same time, I mean, it kind of makes sense, you know? It's been like that. So it kind of makes sense. I don't know.
Actually along natural features. This means using the Continental Divide, mountain ranges, rivers, and deserts to make these new borders, mostly in that order. So let's get to it. Now, given its prominence, we're going to start by dividing the states up by the Rocky Mountains and the Continental Divide that runs through it. So from north to south, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico all get split in half, with their former western sides joining the states of Idaho, Utah, and Arizona respectively. This already makes way more sense in my head. Let's keep heading west since we're going in that direction and focus on Nevada. Nevada is mostly one big desert. In fact, I ranked it the state with the worst geography because of this. So why not double down and just give them the deserts of California and Oregon as well? Done. This leaves California a little top-heavy, but most of its population is in the south still, so it evens out. Maybe? And this just leaves Oregon and Washington. Honestly, both states are mostly fine except for one thing. Oregon is largely divided along the Columbia and Snake Rivers. But in the northeast of Oregon...
But this would not work, like, anymore, right? Because I'm sure that if Nevada took that much space from California and these other states were split in half, they would probably have like things that are on the other side, you know? Does that make sense? Like, this wouldn't really work. But if it was like this for forever, it would make maybe more sense. But then again, there's a reason why the states are like this, so I don't know.
Along the Columbia and Snake Rivers. But in the northeast of Oregon, instead of the border following the Snake River, it just cuts straight across. So we're just going to add that missing chunk back to Oregon and call it a day. As for the other western states, just a few minor changes. The Dakotas are, of course, just a single state now. Done. Nebraska and Kansas are mostly fine, except Kansas City is now in Kansas. Come on, guys, that one should be obvious. And then we're going to give...
Is Kansas City not in Kansas? What?
Texas's hat to Oklahoma to get rid of that wonky little panhandle, and we'll make this divide along the Red River. Texas is way too big anyways, so it's time to slim up just a little bit. The West has been fixed, mostly. Things are still a little awkward, but it looks a lot more natural now. So let's move on to the rest of the states. The eastern half of the United States is not in nearly as bad of shape, so our fixes over here will be relatively minor compared to the western, blockier half. But there's still some things I want to change. First, let's head to the deep south. This whole area is wrong. First, Louisiana is the only state that doesn't get divided up by the Mississippi River. But we can't have New Orleans and Baton Rouge in Mississippi, so we'll make a concession here. The eastern side of Louisiana up to Lake Pontchartrain will now be part of Mississippi, excluding Baton Rouge, which is a little weird, but still worth it. Next, Florida has a really long panhandle, preventing it from being a true peninsular state. So
another thing is that I feel like Florida, for example, or Texas, like the shapes are already like engraved in the state. Like Texas, for example, I mean, if it was any other shape than what it is right now, it would be so weird. Like, I don't know. I think Texas should be Texas.
Oh, let's just go ahead and give the western edge of Florida's panhandle to Alabama. It's not like Florida needs more coastline anyways. Also, I have a sneaking suspicion that that part of Florida is more culturally Alabama anyways. Moving north from Florida, we actually have another continental divide. This is the divide that largely follows the Appalachian Range, and just like with the Rockies, we're going to split up all of the states along this line. So that means that Georgia, Carolina, which was already merged together, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania are all split. The eastern side will remain their own states.
Come on now, you can't just go and take half of Pennsylvania. No, this is not good. I disagree with this one. That's a huge chunk. Come on now. We on our channel we have friends in Pennsylvania. We can't do that to them.
But the western ends will join Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Ohio. The latter two split along the Ohio River. Now, you might have noticed that the Appalachian Continental Divide goes north into New York. You're not wrong to think that this might necessitate a split, but I decided not to split it in half because the only logical state that would absorb that land would be Ohio. And I just couldn't bring myself to make Ohio even bigger. So New York stays as is. Now,
but you're okay with cutting some states? No, I'm joking.
Now,
okay.
Before we head too far north, there's one other thing we gotta fix. The Delmarva Peninsula. Right now, it's split between Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia, with Delaware really getting shafted here. So, it's now all Delaware. As for the rest of the Northeast, it's fine.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
There's nothing too obvious here to fix. New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine get to keep their current borders. congratulations on either not being awkward enough for me to fix your borders, or for being so small that if I changed anything, it would be a literal existential crisis. This just leaves us with the Midwest to straighten out. So
I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. Would this work?
let's start with Michigan. I'm sorry, but you can't have the Upper Peninsula anymore. It's physically connected to Wisconsin and therefore should belong to them. But
yeah, Fendi, I think the same. How can they take such a huge chunk from Michigan? Yeah. Wild. Fendi did not like that one.
in exchange, you can have the Toledo Strip back from Ohio, which is what you wanted originally. I'm not really sure what that does for you today, but it is what it is. And that's basically it. The rest are mostly fine. In fact, Minnesota might have the most perfect borders of any contiguous US state. It's mostly—
What is that little, is that like part of the drawing, or is that actually, is there like a little nook here in Minnesota?
made up of the Minnesota, St. Croix, and Mississippi rivers aside from a few straight areas, and its southern border. But we'll just blame the southern border on Iowa. Indiana, Illinois, and Arkansas rounds out the last of the lower 48, and they're all passable, with nothing obvious to fix about them.
I'll be deep in the cold, cold ground before I recognize Missouri.
And, of course, there's Alaska and Hawaii. But obviously, neither can have their borders changed because they don't border anyone else. Well, Alaska does border Canada, but we're not going international with this video. There's one final thing you might have noticed. I combined 4 states into 2 states, which means we only have 48 states. Now, maybe you're not a patriot, but I demand that the old Stars and Stripes have 50 full stars on them. So, we gotta add a couple states. This is actually pretty easy because, in case you were unaware, the United States owns
What? What? What do you mean?
territories that are not full states within the country. So we can cobble together some states from them, right? The most obvious full state to include would be Puerto Rico. It has more people than 19 other states, and as such, makes no sense to keep it as a territory in my eyes. So, welcome aboard Puerto Rico. And because they're nearby and also a territory, we're going to add the U.S. Virgin Islands as part of Puerto Rico. Next up are the territories of Guam and the Northern Mariana Islands. Now, these 2 territories are pretty small, but strategically they're very important. So here's what—
Wow, I've never even seen that before. What is that? Where is that? Look at that. That's pretty.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to combine both into a single state called Mariana, because the whole island chain for both is called the Mariana Islands. It will be the smallest state by population by far, but when Nevada was admitted to the Union, there were fewer than 8,000 people living there. So I think we can manage. As for American Samoa, it kind of feels like it should be unified with Samoa, but that's really not for me to decide. So we'll leave them as a territory for now. And as for Washington, D.C., I'm just gonna leave it as is until the politicians figure it out. Basically, I'm not touching it. It can stay as a little half square for now. But there we have it. We got our 2 stars back with Puerto Rico and Mariana.
Wait, was Washington? Oh, Washington, D.C., but is it originally like that?
Making for a full 50 states once again. We did it! So it's the morning of the day that this video gets published on November 4th, 2024. And I've been working on it now for about 18 hours straight. I am tired. This video is a little rougher than my usual episodes, and for that, I do apologize. But I scrambled to pull this episode together last minute because tomorrow is the big day here in the United States. And I wanted to make and publish this video because a lot of people have been talking about fixing the United States for a while now. But the reality is that we all have to play our part in fixing and improving this country. And
I was still on the borders. Probably not fixing the borders, if not like fixing. Oof, this feels illegal to listen to.
The only way we can play that part is by voting.
Okay.
So please, go vote by the end of the day tomorrow, or else we may actually end up with a country that looks like this. All right, I'm gonna go take a nap now. But also, if this video got you really jazzed about the current United States, then maybe you would like a beautiful map of the country to adorn your walls.
I actually would. That's so nice. I could have like one of these posters, like huge ones, and then pin every place that I've been to.
You would like a beautiful map of the country to adorn your walls. One I definitely did not fix. Every map you buy from my map store, of course, helps support this channel. But go vote. I would rather you vote than buy anything. I hope you enjoyed this off-the-wall geography episode. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to watch more of my videos, you can. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Well, that was
Perhaps.
interesting. I mean, yeah, it would make more sense for them to go like more geographically, but then again, if suddenly if suddenly the borders changed to this, I would feel some type of way about it. I'm not even American. I shouldn't feel any way about it, but I would feel some type of way about it. I like the way it is right now. Don't change it. Okay. Thank you guys for joining me for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you. Honestly, thank you for being here. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay?